Welcome to another lesson. In this lesson, we're going to explore how to customize the behavior of our commands by using arguments and options. So, fasten your seatbelts and let's jump into the action. Remember in the previous lesson when we used the ping command to determine whether we're connected to the internet? Let's refresh our memory by taking a look at the command we used. Ping is obviously the name of our command. Google.com is what we refer to as an argument. Arguments allow us to pass information and provide context to commands. In this example, our argument provides the ping command the necessary information to carry out its task. Arguments can be either mandatory or optional. In this case, specifying a destination is mandatory, because without it, the ping command wouldn't know which destination to communicate with. However, not all commands require arguments to function. In fact, some may not accept arguments at all. To demonstrate, let's take a look at a command that does not need any arguments to function. Drum roll, please! Introducing the PS command, which is short for process status. A process refers to an active, running instance of a program within the operating system. In simpler terms, processes are applications that are currently being executed. The PS command conveniently displays all the processes on our computer. To see it in action, let's type PS in our terminal and press Enter. Awesome! Our computer's processes are now on display. Let's decode these cryptic columns. PID showcases the unique identifier for each process. TTY reveals the name of the terminal associated with the process. Time indicates the duration each process has utilized the computer's CPU. And lastly, CMD presents the command that initiated each process. If you don't recognize these processes, don't worry. We'll delve deeper into them in a future lesson. Notice that the PS command didn't require any arguments to function. In fact, it doesn't accept any arguments at all. That doesn't mean we can't customize its behavior. To do so, we need to use something called options. Options, also known as flags or switches, are specific letters or words that can be typed after a command to modify its behavior in some way. For instance, by default, the PS command doesn't include background applications in its output. To display every process, we need to use the PS command followed by the E option, where the lowercase e stands for everything. Options, like the one we're examining here, typically start with a single hyphen. This symbol denotes that we're specifying an option and not an argument. Let's give it a try. Awesome! The list of processes now features many more applications. Keep in mind that different commands require different options. They're not one size fits all. For example, the E option might perform an entirely different function for another command, or might not be recognized at all. So, how did we know that E is a valid option for the PS command? Did we randomly type letters until something worked? Nope. We consulted something called the manual pages. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. We'll explore these in our next lesson. When specifying options, it's important to remember that they're case sensitive, meaning that E with an uppercase E might not be recognized or could be misinterpreted. To demonstrate, let's try it and see what happens. Uh-oh, error message. Just as we thought, the E option with a capital E doesn't exist within the PS command. Now that we've got a handle on options, let's mix things up a bit. Within a command, we can specify more than one option to further customize its behavior. To demonstrate, let's type our command just like before, but this time let's also include the F option, which stands for full format and makes the PS command display our processes in a format that includes even more juicy details. An alternative syntax is combining all of our options under a single hyphen. This makes our options look neater and makes quickly identifying them easier. With our command Dress to Impress, let's hit Enter and watch the magic unfold. Amazing! The output is now bursting with information about each process. Don't worry if it seems like hieroglyphics for now. Remember, you're still learning the ropes. Get ready for a plot twist. Options sometimes need arguments themselves. These are referred to as option arguments or parameters. One example of such an option is U, which stands for user. This option allows us to view the processes related to a specific user. To specify a user, all we have to do is type its name after our option. In this case, this username serves as the argument for this option. Let's see it in action. Ta-da! Our command now only shows the applications related to this specific user. Here's a fun fact. In the command we just executed, we could have typed user instead of the letter U. This is what we call the long form of an option. Long form options, such as this one, are usually preceded by 2 hyphens instead of just 1. Let's see it in action. As predicted, our command works like a charm. Some commands only accept the short form of an option, while others accept both. Whether the long or short form of an option is required depends entirely on the specific command. In our case, the PS command accepts both the long and the short form of this particular option. Wow, that was a lot. We hope you're not overwhelmed. Don't stress about memorizing all the different syntaxes and ways to specify options and arguments. They'll become second nature the more you spend time on the command line. For now, let's just focus on getting a feel for what options and arguments look like. To give you a hand, let's recap what we learned this lesson. Arguments allow us to pass information and provide context to commands. Some commands require them in order to function, while others do not. Options can also be used to modify the behavior of a command. But unlike arguments, they're usually preceded by a single or double hyphen, depending on their form. Options themselves often require arguments, which are called option arguments or parameters. I hope you had a blast during this lesson, and I can't wait to see you at the next one.